Hello guys, in this video I want to talk about tube shapes, how to create them in Plasticity and how I use them in my designs. When I talk about tube shapes, I mean all kind of different forms including pipes, hoses, hydraulics, railing, frame structures, etc. These elements are a great way to make your creations look more appealing because they balance the boxy hard surface shapes we tend to create in CAD software. These round elements catch the light easily, and because of that, they can be nice guiding elements to emphasize key areas of your work. There are many real-life examples that show how this can be used functionally. Some vehicles even use these tube structures to build all design around it. Like here, it serves as a protective frame, reinforcing cage, and even have these hook points mounted to the structure. I really like how this frame using both welding methods of connecting as well as using these adapters and mounting points. That looks very cool. And that's what I'm trying to implement in my work as well. I'm thinking how my tube shapes connect into the main structure. I usually mix in both methods as well. Somewhere it welded and somewhere I like to use connection pieces, especially where it goes into the body of the vehicle. I also think what role these elements serve in my vehicle besides being cool visual elements. For instance, this element serves as a railing so people can grab on something when they climb up. It can also protect certain parts, like this utility access, and it serves as a base for other function elements, like hooks and sensors, or here at the back it holds smoke launchers and rear lights. Let's jump into Plasticity and talk about modeling. So in order to create tube element, we use pipe command, which have a P hotkey by default. In order for it to work, we need a guiding line. It could be a spline or edges of the mesh. Let's make it a bit more interesting by filleting these corners, extend this box a little bit like that, and here fillet it, hold Alt and left click to select the whole loop, and then hit P again. Let's move this aside and try to do the same thing with a spline. So create a line, then go down. Usually a guiding line appears showing you it's going in the Z direction, meaning down. If it's not appearing, we can just hit Z ourselves. Here, x-axis, then y, here. And now we can select these points and also make a bevel. Apply pipe command and kind of have the same result. Good to have two options for creating pipes, and both of them have their pluses and minuses. For example, with the box variant, it might be very hard to create complex shapes going in different directions because you need to make your structure very complex and not very intuitive to see how this pipe will look like at the final result. But as a bonus, when we create something and we still left with this base, And for example, we want to change the fillet radius later. We can adjust it, delete our pipe, and very fast recreate it again. Usually when I use this method and I end up with structures like this, I put them in a separate folder, hide them, and I can go back and easily change something. That is an advantage of this method. In case of the second method, the advantage is when we build something, it's easier to visualize final result and make adjustments along the way, but it's harder to, for example, adjust fillets radius, because in plasticity, as for now, it's fixed, and all you can do is, I don't know, like manually delete it, rebuild, rejoin, and then make it from scratch. Which is very time consuming. So depending on the situation and how complex you want your tube element to be, you can use either this or this method, or even combine them, because in plasticity you can create a spline from edge. So for instance, if we already have some structure, have some flow, and we want to emphasize it with tube elements, we can actually select the flow we want to duplicate with a tube element, and then click Shift D, and we have a duplicate of this edge. Then we can use offset, I think O, and depending on what I want, I can adjust it. Let's imagine I want to put it inwards. I can rebuild this radius. Let's trim unnecessary pieces. Here, try and create a fillet. And let's imagine I want this pipe to go into this body, so I can move these points, create a new spline going in this direction on the y-axis. Join this. Same here. Join and apply fillets. Hit B. And we have our beautiful tube element. Of course, this example was very simple, and I think spline method, when we extract the spline, it works best for curves going in multiple directions. For example, like something like this, it's really shows its benefit. And again, depending on the situation, you can change the method. For example, probably it would be faster using box method here because it's a flat surface. I could have just extract this as a new body, easily adjust the radius, push it here, apply bevels, so it goes into the body, and extrude the pipe, and it would be probably easier. And also I would have this base as a box in my backup folder, but it would be almost impossible to do with the box shapes. Like think like this probably, when the curve is going like in multiple directions. So using spline here is it is way better. Now let's imagine we want to change the radius of this corner, but we don't have any backup boxes and our splines are deleted a long time ago. So what we can do, we can actually just delete this corner piece for good. I'm trying to maintain the roundness of the cut, cutting it parallel. So I don't have weird oval shapes like this when I cut. And now I can select those two cuts and create a loft using L as a hotkey. Select G1 or G2 depending on the result you prefer. Sometimes it's work great, sometimes it's weird, but definitely an option if you want to change radius and it's already finalized. If we want to adjust the thickness of the pipe, it's very easy. Just select the whole pipe with Alt and just press and pull. Works without any issues, but it's trickier when we want to change the length. For example, I want to shorten this a bit. I'll try to just select those two pieces and try to move them. And as you can see, it doesn't want to move. It works fine when I push it away, but if I want to make it shorter, it gives me an error. So what we can do is, usually I just make a cut, so this piece is separate, and now I just move it as I want. For example, I want it here, adjust the pipe, and reconnect them again by pulling them together. Yeah, that's usually what I do. Let's try same with this. No, also doesn't work. Cut and move. Very important thing, move it along this pipe. Try to find some elements that will align with this direction. Usually it's this corner line or its center. Or you may use like guiding elements from outside, because I was creating this pipe from this element, so if I copy this direction, it should also work. Because if we use it slightly wrong, we will have some issues like this, and that looks very sad. Also, it leaves us these lines that don't want to be deleted, but you can select either of the planes and delete them, and yeah, it solves it if you like a perfectly clean topology. Also, another advice is when you create a pipe or some railing that goes into the body, don't leave it as it is, just one mesh piercing another. It looks very unappealing, not realistic, and there are many ways to solve it. For example, creating a hole in the main body. We can select our body mesh, then pipe, apply boolean with a keep tool slider activated. Now we have a hole in the main body. We can make it a bit bigger, create a small bevel. We can see that one element goes into another naturally. Or we can create some sort of a connecting element by I'm using isoparam tool to add additional edges to the pipe, and then just pull it, apply a fillet, bevel, and when we look at it from a distance, it just looks more natural. When things connect, they have some sort of a connection point. Here you can see how I solve this problem. In this truck example, I have a connecting base for the pipe I used with every pipe piece that goes into the body with additional boolean around it to emphasize this connection. Also, you can see other connecting elements here, or functional elements like hook attachments that just make this functional railing a bit more interesting. Here is a set I use to detail pipe structures or similar railing elements. For example, let's go back to the truck and just imagine we want to add an additional connection similar to this one, but here going into the body. Let's try and recreate it. Here it's connected using welding, but in this example I want to show it using some sort of a connector. So let me grab a 3-point connector. This one. And how can I place it so it's aligned and in the center of this tube? Sometimes if we can select a center from a corner here, we can just do it like this. I use place with copy command, and I'm choosing this center of the corner as a placing point. So now I only need to adjust the scale, and it's aligned with the pipe direction and add it in the center. Now I can just move it in the desired position. But let's imagine it doesn't work, because sometimes, for some reason, it doesn't show me this center of a circle. I use X-ray mode, by the way, to look inside and select this center point. But as I said, sometimes, some reason I can't find an example where it doesn't work. But believe me, let's imagine it doesn't work. And what we can do is we can make a cut perpendicular to this pipe. And when we make a pipe, for some reason, we can select a center like in cylinder, because if we create a cylinder from scratch, it have a center. But with a pipe, when we make a cut, it doesn't show it. Maybe it will be fixed in future updates. So the way around it is to select this plane and just hit space. And now we have this temporary plane, which for some reason creates a center point. So now if I want to create something, it shows me the center. So in this temp mode, if I place that piece again, I can place it in the center and do the same thing we did previously. And then I need to reconnect this pipe again. Now we need to rotate it 180 degrees. Pull it a bit down. And create a new cylinder. That will go into the body. Now I can grab my base or any other base, place it in the center, adjust the scale, and move it. We can do the same thing with any other attachment pieces. And if for some reason you want it to be welded, you can just extend this piece. Usually I make it a bit less of a radius than the original, so it perfectly goes inside. Then you just pull them together and create a fillet. For something non-standard, you can always use the param tool to extrude shapes and make thickness variation easily to make it look cooler and interesting. Thanks for watching, and I hope it was useful for you. You can find the pipe toolkit I mentioned in my store, the link in the description, as well as other sets. Take care.